Hi, everyone. My name is Ikra. I'm one of the co-hosts here for the webinar. We're going to go ahead and get started. We appreciate all of you for joining. We tailored this webinar specifically for for construction businesses like yourself. The goal of this portion of the webinar will be to introduce our team, who Protelo is, as well as Acumatica, which is one of the fastest growing ERP applications for construction. To introduce you to the team, we have Diane Grayson. She's our account manager and we'll be diving into the webinar with you. And again, my name is Ikra Harrison. I'm one of the business consultants here at Protelo. I will be here to help co-host and answer any questions that come up. For those of you who are not familiar with Protelo and Acumatica, let me give you a quick overview. Protelo is based out of Folsom, California, that operates globally, and where our team is about 50 people strong. Our goal is to help build partnerships with our customers to solve their complex business challenges and provide you with simple, practical solutions by taking the time to truly understand your business needs. Acumatica is a cloud-based ERP software that fully relies on channel partners such as Protelo for the sales, services, implementation, and support of Acumatica. Protelo is an end-to-end provider for all aspects of the ERP project, and currently we have over 400 ERP customers. Our company specializes specifically in the Acumatica's Construction Edition, and as you can see, we've won several awards for our work in the ERP world. Thank you all for the attention as I introduce Protelo and Acumatica. I'm excited to pass the spotlight over to Diane. Diane will now walk you through the live demonstration of Acumatica, showing its key features and how it will benefit you. Here you go, Diane. Thanks.
Thanks, Ikra. And thank you guys for joining. Happy to see everyone. So what makes Protelo and Acumatica unique and sets them apart is their founders are deeply rooted in ERP. And when Acumatica was founded in 2008, their founders established 3 guiding principles based on their 25 years of ERP systems experience working with companies your size. First, they focused on the needs of small and mid-sized businesses to build capabilities and drive innovations that help your organization scale and grow. And as Ikra mentioned, Acumatica relies on partners like Protelo with our deep expertise on deployment, freeing Acumatica to invest in product development. And finally, Acumatica was born in the cloud, disrupting the market with a modern ERP and the innovation essential for small and mid-sized businesses to overcome traditional inefficiencies. Acumatica as a solution has over 10,000 customers, and with customer satisfaction ratings consistently the highest in the industry. And the Acumatica partner ecosystem continues to grow today with over 270 software developers with pre-built applications and integrations. And Acumatica provides its customers with the greatest licensing flexibility in the entire ERP industry. Most customers license Acumatica via a consumption-based transaction model, which means as you add employees, your license costs do not increase. With this focus on customers, Acumatica is the fastest growing cloud ERP company. Acumatica Construction is designed for both residential and commercial construction to manage your entire business. The diagram that you're seeing here shows all the functional areas, including financials and reporting, job costing, project and compliance management, payroll, inventory, and then services. And on the left, you can see a list of all the different types of just explanation of what they do. This complexity enables you to keep projects on track and drive business growth with easy-to-use cloud-based solutions and a growth-friendly license. So your entire team can have access to Acumatica as a single source of truth, allowing you to manage profitability, resolve issues faster, and share documents across the company. Acumatica Construction is focused on business solutions for both general and specialty contractors. For example, tracking real-time costs for labor, materials, subcontractors, and equipment, WIP reports that are always current, AIA billing, the ability to produce joint checks, manage subcontracts, change orders, retainage, tracking issues, submittals, and other compliance documents. And finally, with mobile access to 100% of the system. In today's presentation, we're going to focus on 4 key issues: navigation and user experience, the project hub, project and compliance management, and finally reporting. And our goal is for you to gain enough insight into the factors driving our exceptional customer satisfaction ratings with Acumatica. And with that in mind, we're going to show you how you can achieve and maintain comprehensive integrated approach. So 360 view of your entire construction business, enhanced communication with centralized information, again, as a single source of truth across your organization, and visibility to real-time project profitability with a detailed outlook on each project's financial health. So with that, let's take a look at Acumatica. Acumatica is a web-based application. As secure as online banking. It's accessible from anywhere you have an internet connection and from any device like your Android or iPhone or iPad. 100% of the system can be accessed via the mobile app, which can be downloaded for free from the App Store. When you log in, your user roles will control what you're able to see and have access to. For example, if you're part of the residential group, you will see the HVAC and the renovations division. If you need to move between companies, you can see it's fairly easy. There's no logging in or logging out. You're just essentially just changing your access to which group you want, which company you want to have access to. So Acumatica comes with many pre-configured roles-based dashboards. And dashboards can be personalized with key metrics, data visualization, project updates that you need to see. This particular dashboard is set as my homepage. It's the project overview dashboard, and it's designed to provide an overview across all projects or whatever sorting that I've got in here. So for example, you can see I have a widget here called Cost by Project, where I have a list of projects and I have financial information about those projects. I also have a widget for a request for information, and these are RFIs that are waiting for a response. I've got a pie chart for gross profit, and then I've got a list for gross profit, and I've got a graph for revised contract by project. You can see I've got a link for a job site camera, another list for status. So a little bit about this particular dashboard. Another dashboard that I really like is the dashboard called the Construction Project Manager. So here's an example of a dashboard we designed for project managers to quickly see all the relevant information for projects that they need to manage. So you can see we have the KPIs that are color-coded, red, yellow, green. You can define how you want those indicators, what's triggering those indicators. I have a link for weather. You can see a couple of other lists here, things that as a construction project manager, I need to manage. So dashboards are fairly easy to customize by turning on my design mode. You can see that I now have access to modify each of these widgets. I can also drag and drop, so I can move these to different areas that I want to move them to, so I can kind of rearrange things. Adding a new widget, this is a good thing to kind of show you all the different types of widgets that you can put on your dashboard. So you can see a chart, data table, embedded tables, KPIs, links, pivot tables. You can link to Power BI, even create your own wiki pages. So a little bit about how dashboards are easy to personalize. However, ICRA and the Protelo team will work with you to fine tune your dashboards for all your users, and then we'll be there to support you as you grow and expand your system. So another key area that we're going to take a look at today is the area called the Project Hub. It's a holistic, centralized view of all projects. And what you're looking at is what we call a generic inquiry. It's a list, and it's very configurable. So it's called a generic inquiry, and this functionality you'll find across the entire system. So what's powerful about these lists is how easy it is to, for example, I can change what column information I want in there. So I can add, for example, status. I can then move status up if I want. I can also, drag and drop columns across the top. I have the ability to create my own unique views, and these views can be either global so that everybody sees them, or I can set this so that is just for me, and I can set it as a default. So you can see the filter settings on how to create that. So I'm going to take a little deeper dive into this Project Hub, and there's a specific project that we're going to take a much closer look at. And this is what I call the Eastgate project. And on the Eastgate project, the Project Hub is I think one of the most customers love this. They love the way this is laid out, and the reason for that, and the reason why it has such everybody appreciates it so much, is that you can actually go one place to look at information across the entire system for this project. So let me kind of walk through in a little bit of detail so you can have a feel for it, because this will give you an idea of the depth of information that gets captured and collected on a project. So at the top, you can see is the header, where you can see I have a customer. I can see that I created this project from a template. And the reason why that's relevant is a lot of this information down here in the summary is already set up from that template. So for example, you can see I have this project set. The revenue budget is I'm just budgeting the revenue at the task level. But you can see that my cost budget, I'm actually setting it at the task and the cost code level. So I've got a second layer. I've got a start date, a proposed end date, my project manager. You can see that I have decided that I am tracking inventory for this project. And then on the billing and allocation settings, it can show you that I've got a billing rule for this project is I'm going to do progress billing. So that would be a billing rule that are defined based on how you want to bill this project. I'm also going to use pro forma invoicing, and I'm also going to use the AIA summary level report. You can see that I've got retainage, so you're capturing retainage on this project, and there's the total amount of retainage that has been captured so far. And then finally, on the visibility settings, this is all the different modules that I have ticked that tell me that I can post transactions from GL, AP, AR, sales order, purchase order, inventory, banking, CRM. All of those transactions will have the ability to put a project and a task on it. So that's a little bit about the summary. If I take a look at tasks, these tasks came over from my template, and you can see there's my task level. I can see common tasks, I can activate tasks, I can complete tasks, so different things I can do. The revenue budget, as you saw earlier, I actually have that set to be captured at the task level. And you can see that I've got three different tasks that I'm tracking a revenue budget on. You don't have to. You could have just one line item for a contract. My cost budget is at the task and the cost code level. And you can see across here all of the different information that's being captured related to my costs. If I hover on one of these line items, you can see I can view my transactions. I can also view my commitments, which would be your purchase orders and your subcontracts. This balances tab is one of my favorites. And the reason why is it's very unique in a lot of the construction accounting systems out there today, in that it gives you a mini P&L, that is always current. And it's capturing all the revenue transactions, whether it's a budget, whether it's a change order, whether it's a commitment, or whether it's an actual expense. And you can see I've got, those are my 4 line items for expense: equipment, labor, materials, and other. And you can see that on my actuals, I've got 238,000 revenue and 183,000 in expenses. And on the header, it's pulling that same information and it's telling me what my margin and my percent is today. So the rest of these tabs are just kind of going to show you all the different types of information that's pulling in. Like, these are my commitments. In this case, it's purchase orders, but it could also be subcontracts. These are all the invoices that have been billed against this project. And I'm going to look at one in particular. We'll go look at this invoice here. And if you recall on the summary, I said that I was using pro formas. So what we're looking at is the pro forma invoice. And if I go to the financials tab on the pro forma, you can see I have the AR invoice. So I can actually drill into the AR invoice for this pro forma. You also remember on the summary, I said that I was going to use an AIA format. So here is the pre-configured AIA. I think it's a G702 document, page 1. And if I go to the next page, you can see there's my 3 revenue line items for my request for my draw request on my AIA form. Here's the change orders, change request. So a change request can precede a change order, which means it has the approval processes associated with it. Here's all the different activities that I've captured on this. For example, in this case, it's time activity, but it could be emails, it could be tasks, could be messages, phone calls, any kind of activity that you are capturing will land on this screen. Employees, if you choose to assign employees to a particular project, they would show up here. If you have equipment that work on this project and you're tracking that equipment, you can have the equipment, in this case, there's a concrete pump that's assigned to this project. And there could be a time card associated with that piece of equipment so that it then captures those costs associated with that time. And if I open this up, you can see there's a number of tasks that aren't, or a number of tabs that aren't showing up across that. So you can see I've got additional information. So the other area that I think is pretty cool is what we call a side panel. And again, this is one of those standardized features that you'll find across the system. And a side panel gives you visibility into information that is not necessarily tracked on the record, but is attached or associated with the record. So for example, I'm now looking at the customer, so B&R contractors, and you can see if I want, I can actually print reports associated with that customer. I can, you can see I can see drawing logs, any drawing logs associated, that would be coming from the project management functionality, project issues, and then a request for information. So pretty nice. These side panels, they added them a couple years ago, and they've made the usability of the system was greatly enhanced by being able to have the side panels. A couple other things, you can see that I have notes associated with this. So this note is associated with this project. So if there's just information that you want your project managers to be aware of, or your project administrators, you can add notes. I also have the ability to add files. So files, this is another one of those, in both notes and files are systemic functionality. I can actually take a file that's in my on my drive in Explorer and just drag and drop it onto this. I don't even have to open this. I can just drag it onto the screen, and it will land as a file. I can also upload it. So that's a little bit about the Project Hub, and as you can probably see why the Project Hub is such a customer favorite. This is where project managers go really for that single source of truth across anyone who's using this information for this project. So the next area we want to take a look at is the project management functionality. And what you're seeing right now is your menu is your list of workspaces. And I'm now in my project management workspace. And you can see that I've got transactions, processes, inquiries, reports. I also can minimize what's showing on my workspace just by going in and adding or subtracting these items. With project management, the easiest way to talk about project management, I think, is just to look at all the different types of transactions. So I can create a request for information. I can create a project issue and track those issues, drawing logs, a daily field report, photo logs, and submittals. And the another customer favorite, I think, is this daily field report. And I think it'll probably tie all this together for you in that a daily field report, I'm going to go into one, a daily field report is actually generated from different activities that occur on a daily basis. So if you have a need to do daily reporting on some of your larger projects or maybe your more critical projects, this daily field report will pull information in across the system. So you can see that I had an employee track time against this project. If you have your project managers creating progress worksheets, your project worksheets can be here. You can load them from a template or just upload the document using this upload. Any change requests that happened today, any change orders that were approved, any subcontractors that were on the job today, project issues, photo logs, notes, and equipment, weather, visitors, and you can see I've got a couple more things that are going on in that. But once all this information has been compiled, being able to actually print that daily field report, it's going to then compile a very concise and very usable report that then can be emailed to whomever it is that needs to be emailed. Maybe you've got a distribution list of people who are particularly interested in this project. So I can email this and it will land as an email activity in that project. So if I were to go back to that project and go back and look at those activities, now you'd see that I had actually created this daily field report. So for larger projects, the daily field report it's really a workhorse for project managers, pulling together all the project related activities into one concise, informative, and very timely communication. So the next area related again to the project management is compliance. And most companies that manage construction projects have requirements to protect their customers, vendors, suppliers, and partners from these potential issues associated with compliance. So these compliance issues might be associated with federal, state, local government requirements. They may also be legal or procedural. And Acumatica allows for the auto generation of compliance documents, for example, lien waivers, and then track the status of those lien waivers and create notifications to prevent vendors from being paid without receiving a signed waiver. So here's an example of different types of records. You can see I've got safety training, hazardous all the different, I've got certificates, insurance, lien waivers, others. And then I've created my own views that say, I just want to look at certificates. So here's all my training and hazardous certificates, any insurance policies, notices, lien waivers, and you can see that lien waivers have a workflow associated with them, as I was just talking earlier. I can have other documents. So for example, in this case, I have a contract that I've created and attached to the compliance document. And then I've got expired compliance documents. So the adding that workflow to compliance documents help project administrators stay in control of all compliance issues and manage documents in a very centralized location. So the next area we're going to jump in and take a look at is the financial statements, actually, in particular. But again, this is the workspace for financials. You can see journal transactions, financial calendar, chart of accounts, and all the processes are running allocations and consolidations and budgets. But what I want to take a look at is the financial report. And the financial report, this particular one, I picked this one because I kind of like it, but it's kind of a good example of the complexity that you can have in the financial reporting. And also you can see some functionality that I'm going to show you in terms of being able to drill back into data. Again, another one of those standardized system-wide functionality is when you see a blue hyperlink, you can drill into that hyperlink and it will just start to drill down. I'm gonna take a few steps in here to show you what I'm talking about. So I drilled into that GL account, and I'm now going to just go into Services East. I have a $335,000 transaction that I want to look at. And you can see there's the transactions for this period that I'm looking at. And I am just looking at period 4, but I could, this is the account details screen, which is accessible from another menu item. I'm just kind of drilling into these. But now I'm looking at all of the revenue entries associated with this account. I can now open up this particular batch, and now it's actually going to show me the AR document, and it's also going to there's the journal entry. Let me kind of open this up a little bit. There's the journal entry, and now if I go into view source document, it will now take me into that AR document that actually created that line item. So and you'll notice also that as we drill into this, these are opening up in separate tabs. So you can always go back to where you started and continue your assessment or your evaluation. So a little bit about the financial reports and the hyperlinks and the drill down. So that's the financial report writer is one of the 3 report writers that we were going to talk about. The other one I wanted to talk about is just it's called graphical reports. And anyone who's familiar with Crystal probably it's very similar to Crystal, where you can have a number of reporting parameters and filters and email and printing settings, and you can create your own report versions. In this particular one, this is another one. I'm showing you all my favorites. The Project WIP report. Project WIP report is really one of my favorite WIP reports. During my tenure as a controller for a general contractor, this report used to take me weeks to prepare in Excel. So really nice to have this report in Acumatica. It is a report, and you can kind of just look at the information across the top, my contract information, my estimated costs, my commitments, projects cost at completion, estimated gross profit percentage, my actuals, and the real sweet spot is this billings in excess of costs and costs in excess of billings. This is the information that used to take weeks to prepare in order to prepare those journal entries to set those accruals, create those accruals. So the project WIP report is always current. So it doesn't matter what point in the month you want to know what your WIP information is. This is updated with every document, whether it's a budget entry, the creation of a project with the budget, with the change order, with the subcontract, with the purchase order. All of that information is included on this WIP report. So finally, the last area that I want to take a look at in terms of reporting is the project summary report that we're going to take a look at. And this looks probably a little familiar to you. It is the third reporting area, this generic inquiry. And the project summary is another one of my favorite reports just because of how the data is pulled together and summarized. So there's actually a lot of formatting that went into creating these summary pieces of information across all projects. You can see that I've got a number of views. I have just construction projects, and I have just internal projects. So not all projects have to be external with the customer. They could be projects that you're capturing costs on internally. So we've kind of looked at the dashboards. We've looked at the project hub, project management, compliance, and now we've looked at all three of the different types of reporting. So that really completes our presentation today. So let's open this up for Q&A. If anybody's got any questions, we're open.
Thanks, Diane. That was really great. I may be a little biased here, but because of my project accounting background, but this module is definitely my favorite because of that WIP report exactly. Like it saved me months and hours of when I would have to do it month over month. And it was a few years ago, so I haven't done it in a while, but you know, I don't know if I could ever go back to that. We did have a few questions that came in throughout the webinar, so I'll take a few minutes to go over this before we end. One of the questions that we had was, does Acumatica have the ability to create or track subcontract agreements? Do you want to take that, or you want me?
Sure. So yes, subcontract agreements it is a document, and you might have seen it in one of the tabs in the project hub where you could see the subcontracts. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, I like that you can actually like create it in the system. And there's a few different forms that I'm aware of. Like there's just a summary level, then they have like a shorter legal form and a longer form. And you know, I've had clients that will just manage the actual subcontract agreement in the system versus actually creating the agreement because they have company specific documents. But it's flexible, and I really like that. Another question that came in was, how does Acumatica handle time entry and billable rates? I can take that one if you don't mind. Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. So Acumatica has the ability where your employees can log their hours through a time card. You can also do it through time activities. And then there's also a few ways that you can that it can support different billable rates, whether it's by item level, so like materials, it could be by employee levels or different positions, different parts of the project, or just overall, you might have a project specific change order rate or something, right? Acumatica has that flexibility where you can cost it at one rate, so your internal costs are showing properly, and then you can bill it to your customer at a different rate. And I think the last question that I have here is, how does Acumatica handle change orders? I can take that one too. So Acumatica, you know, I really like this module, everyone. So Acumatica has a two-tier change management functionality, which means they leverage using change request and change orders. You don't always have to use change request, but basically that's just a potential change that it's going to happen to a project budget. One of the scenarios that I'm always used to is a super ask one of the techs to, give them a quote, or there's some change to plans, and they just want to get pricing. And so you can give them a request, a change request that doesn't actually update your budget or any of the actual reports related to your project, but you can still kind of build that in as a potential change. Then you can convert that change request into a change order, which then updates all of your budgets. It updates all your reports, your WIP report, your over and under billings. Everything gets updated once that change request is converted.
And across all of that, you have approvals. We didn't really go
Yes.
into approvals at all, but approvals are another one of those system-wide
Hmm.
functionality that you can have approvals on just about anything that you think you need an approval, like an AP bill or even a subcontractor purchase order. So the workflow, the whole workflow around approvals is very powerful.
Yeah. One way one of my clients used it is they had their field guys fill out change requests on, on the field or in the field using the mobile app. That approval workflow would then go to the project manager, which can then, vet through it, review it, and then take, you know, the whole slew of change requests and convert multiple change requests into one change order. Because, GCs don't want to see a bunch of different change order lines on your SOV and all that stuff. So I like that you can combine multiple change requests into one change order.
Right.
I don't see any other questions that came in. But we really appreciate everybody joining us. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time.